First, this. God created the heavens and earth. All you see. All you don't see. Earth was a soup of nothingness, a bottomless emptiness, an inky blackness. God's Spirit brooded like a bird above the watery abyss. God spoke. Light. And light appeared. And God saw that light was good and separated light from dark. God named the light day. He named the dark night. It was evening. It was morning. Day one. God spoke. Sky. In the middle of the water, separate water from water. God made sky. He separated the water under sky and from the water above sky. And there it was. He named sky the heavens. It was evening. It was morning. Day two. God spoke. Separate. Water beneath heaven. Gather into one place. Land appear. And there it was. God named the land earth. He named the pooled water ocean. God saw that it was good. God spoke. Earth, green up, grow all varieties of seed-bearing plants, every sort of fruit-bearing tree. And there it was. Earth produced green seed-bearing plants, all varieties, and fruit-bearing trees of all sorts. God saw that it was good. It was evening. It was morning. Day three. God spoke. Lights, come out. Shine in heaven's sky. Separate day from night. Mark seasons and days and years. Lights in heaven's sky to give light to earth. And there it was. God made two big lights. The larger to take charge of day, the smaller to be in charge of night. And he made stars. God placed them in the heavenly sky to light up the earth and oversee day and night, to separate light and dark. God saw that it was good. It was evening. It was morning. Day four. God spoke. Swarm ocean with fish and all sea life. Birds fly through the sky over earth. God created the huge whales, all the swarm of life in the waters, and every kind and species of flying birds. God saw that it was good. God blessed them. Prosper, reproduce, fill ocean, birds reproduce on earth. It was evening. It was morning. Day 5. God spoke. Earth, generate life, every sort and kind. Cattle and reptiles and wild animals, all kinds. And there it was. Wild animals of every kind. Cattle of all kinds, every sort of reptile and bug. God saw that it was good. God spoke. Let us make human beings in our image. Make them reflecting our nature, so they can be responsible for the fish in the sea, the birds in the air, the cattle, and yes, earth itself, and every animal that moves on the face of the earth. God created human beings. He created them godlike, reflecting God's nature. He created them male and female. God blessed them. Prosper, reproduce, fill earth, take charge. Be responsible for fish in the sea and birds in the air, for every living thing that moves on the face of the earth. Then God said, I've given you every sort of seed-bearing plant on earth and every kind of fruit-bearing tree, given them to you for food. To all animals and all birds, everything that moves and breathes, I give whatever grows out of the ground for food. And there it was. God looked over everything He'd made. It was so good, so very good. It was evening. It was morning. Day 6. Heaven and earth were finished, down to the last detail. By the 7th day, God had finished His work. On the 7th day, He rested from all His work. He made it a holy day, because on that day, He rested from His work. All the creating God had done. This is how it all started. Of heaven and earth when they were created. That was a translation of Genesis from The Message by Eugene Peterson. Genesis is the first book of the Hebrew and Christian Bible, and it chronicles the beginning of life and faith from the perspective of the Abrahamic faiths. The 3 major faith traditions which trace their lineage through Abraham are Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. I would suggest, and I'm not the first to suggest it, that Genesis is a creation myth. It doesn't mean it isn't true. It means that it is a way to describe and point us towards something beyond us. The intangible can't be made tangible in a black and white way, but is made real through stories and songs that touch our emotions. Listen to this definition from Joseph Campbell, author of The Power of Myth. He defines myth as a directing of the mind and heart by means of profoundly informed figurations to that ultimate mystery which fills and surrounds all existence. All existences. across different spiritual traditions, the stories of creation are as varied and nuanced as the narrators who tell them. From the Lakota tribe, the story begins. There was another world before this one, but the people of that world did not behave themselves. Displeased, the creating power set out to make a new world. He sang several songs to bring rain, which poured stronger with each song. As he sang the fourth song, the earth split apart and water gushed up through the many cracks, causing a flood. By the time the rain stopped, all of the people and nearly all of the animals had drowned. Only Kangi, the crow, survived. Kangi pleaded with the creating power to make him a new place to rest. So the creating power decided the time had come to make his new world. The Akamba of Kenya say that God lowered the first pair or two of mankind from the clouds to the earth. They brought with them cattle, sheep, and goats, and the two pairs reproduced so that their children intermarried and formed families of mankind on earth. In a related set of myths, it is held that among the Maasai and Nadi, that men came originally from the leg or knee. This knee or leg belonged to some other being, evidently similar to humans. The leg got swollen until finally it burst, letting out a male person on one side and a female on the other. From the Brahmas of the Upanishad, which was written in India around the 700s or 600s BC. It is the story of Brahma, the creator. In the beginning, there was absolutely nothing, and what existed was covered by death and hunger. He thought, let me have a self, and he created the mind. As he moved about in worship, water was generated. Froth formed on the water, and the froth eventually solidified to become earth. He rested on the earth, and from his luminance came fire. After resting, he divided himself in three parts, and one is fire, one is the sun, and one is the air. Thus, in the beginning, the world was only his self, his being or essence, which then took the shape of a person. And let us not leave out science. Scientists, by looking back through time and into the deep cosmos, are still discovering new universes filled with a multiplicity of worlds and positing their creation myths called theories. And yes, we are in the midst of unfolding our own creation myth. From this moment forward is the new beginning of our stories and our relationship with the sacred. Individually and as a congregation, we are in the midst of creating experiences of the holy that are both new and renewed every moment. There have already been reflections and tomes written about the creation of First Congregational United Church of Christ in Mason City. Someday, I suppose, someone will wax poetically and share the creation myth of this moment in First Church. How our minds and our hearts were directed to that ultimate mystery. How we were filled and surrounded by the mystery, and how we shared in that mystery with all existences. Should be interesting. Will probably be told in different ways. In the beginning, God. Just a thought.